Are you a hunter? Do you go out and hunt deer every season? Many times I get questions in the extension office with, my husband got 2 deer, I have no room, what do I do? What do I make with? How do I cook this deer? Well, that is a common problem, is we have all the deer meat, but we don't know how to use it. I'm Anna Schremmer, K-State Research and Extension, Phillips-Ricks Extension District. I'm the Family Consumer Science Agent in Phillipsburg. I have here 3 different types of meat, and you can kind of see what they are, and I'll let you look at them while I kind of talk about the deer meat and see if you can figure out which one is. First of all, I want to talk about nutrition of the deer. Deer is very high protein. It's just like beef, pork, chicken, turkey, lamb, any of those red meats. It's very high protein food, and it's excellent for you. Part of the reason is it's not a high fat content meat. It has 153 calories per 3-ounce serving. So it's a very nutritional, very good meat for you to use. And it's also low in fat. If you haven't figured out which this is, we'll go through that now. This is sausage, pork sausage. You can see all the fat in there. This is beef, and you can see the marbling that has come and the fat that's been ground into the meat. It's actually 80-20, so it's a very lean beef. And then this is the deer meat. Deer meat is dark, and that's partially because of the type of muscle that the deer has. Just like pork has a pink color, beef is red, and then deer is a real dark color. One of the things to remember about deer meat, or venison, its term is venison. It has a strong flavor, and most of that flavor comes from fat. So if you don't have your deer ground and a lot of the fat removed, then when you are cutting up, or you have the locker plant cut your deer for you, you want to have it trimmed very close and have the fat removed. There won't be a lot of fat there, but the fat is what gives it its strong flavor. The not having a lot of fat in it will not make the deer as tender. And of course, the deer doesn't just sit around and eat grass or eat grain. They don't get put in feedlots. So they don't have a lot of the type of feed that's going to fatten them up, so their meat isn't tender. They do a lot of running, jumping, and as you may be seen driving down the road, they run a lot. So you want to realize that they use those muscles a lot more than what the beef, pork, lamb, or goats do. But the fat also, as I said, it has a special flavor. So you want to keep that in mind, and you want to eat your deer either really hot or really cold, because otherwise the fat will leave an off taste in your mouth. It also tends to be dry because there's not a lot of fat in there. So don't want to overcook it. In fact, a lot of times you want to add other ingredients to it because of that. But one thing about deer meat is you can substitute that deer or that venison in any recipe that you use beef in. It just is interchangeable. Now you may want to add something to it so that it has a little more flavor and it's not quite as tough, but you can substitute it anytime. I actually have put together a cookbook, Cooking with Venison, and I have some at the office if you would like to stop and pick any of those up. I also have it at our local locker plant here in Phillipsburg, that they will also hand those out. So if you need some recipes with cooking with venison, because like I said, it is interchangeable. When you most deer is frozen after it's processed. So when you thaw it, you want to make sure that you've thawed either in the refrigerator and plan a couple of days ahead of time, get it out, let it thaw in the refrigerator, or you can thaw it with a microwave. But if you thaw it with a microwave, you need to use it immediately. Okay, when you cook with venison, you can either cook 50-50. That means a pound of venison with a pound of ground beef. You can mix those together and cook 50-50. Or you can add added fat such as your deer with, and this is suet, and what suet is actual ground fat from the beef. You can add it to your venison, or, and I like to do this, is add pork sausage with the venison. And when you mix that, it extends your sausage, but that sausage flavor goes into your deer, and you can't tell that it's just not a regular sausage patty. It takes on the flavor and it extends the amount you have. So if you're watching your meat dollar, you can buy the sausage, a pound of sausage and a pound of deer meat, put them together in a bowl and just squeeze them. I usually like to put on plastic gloves just anytime that I work with meat. That way, if I would happen to have a little cut in my finger, the bacteria from the meat does not get in there. I usually, if I'm going to mix deer and sausage, I usually do it the night before, and that way the deer meat or the venison has taken on all of the flavor, all of the spices that are in the sausage. And as you can see, as I'm mixing it, I'm squeezing it, it's changing color. You can tell there's actually more meat, muscle, and not so much fat as where there was with the pork sausage. And so once you get it mixed really well, then you can cover it with saran wrap and put it in the refrigerator. And the next morning you can make your sausage patties, and your family won't even know that you've used the deer in your with your sausage. You can also add butter or oil, and whenever I cook deer, I always either spray the pan or I add a little bit of oil to the pan, because deer doesn't have the fat to melt and it will stick otherwise. Now, if you have steaks or a roast or something like that that you're going to cook, it's good to marinate it, because the venison will take on the flavor of the marinade. And if you have something that is real strong flavored, such as you go to Colorado and to the mountains and you're cooking, and you've gotten a deer or elk or something there, that's going to have a lot more stronger flavor than what you have from Kansas, simply because a lot of our deer feed on this corn that is being picked, the milo, wheat, they go eat alfalfa, so they are eating a lot of the same things that our beef does. So it doesn't have quite the strong flavor as what the elk or the deer in Colorado or Montana or someplace in the mountains. You can add herbs and spices, sort of like be the same thing as adding the pork sausage, because the sausage has a lot of herbs or spices to it. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to go over some of the things that you can use when making the venison so that we don't taste the gamey flavor with it, and we'll be putting together chili.
Make a difficult choice an easy one with Cedar View Assisted Living's knowledgeable and caring staff. Your loved one will be professionally taken care of as they transition into their new community. With movies, holiday parties, planned exercises, and games, residents will have opportunities every day to enjoy their time at Cedar View. Multiple room styles are available, ensuring a just right fit for your loved one. Come see Cedarview Assisted Living for yourself next to Sternberg Museum. The care you need, the home you want.
Norton County Hospital would like to welcome Dr. Greg Serene to the community. Dr. Serene is a board-certified surgeon and trained in sports medicine. His practice will focus on knee injuries, joint replacements, and general orthopedics. Dr. Serene has been practicing for over 20 years and looks forward to providing orthopedic care to Norton and the surrounding communities. The Norton County Hospital, dedicated to caring, commitment, and community.
Safety at a peace of mind price. Nex-Tech Wireless introduces the simple starter plan. For only $15 per month, you can rest easy knowing you can always reach your child on their smartphone. The plan includes unlimited calling, unlimited texting, and unlimited data while on Wi-Fi. You don't have to worry about data overages, and your child will enjoy all the benefits of a smartphone. It's the simple starter plan from Nex-Tech Wireless. Unlimited talk, text, and data while on Wi-Fi for only $15 per month.
Your house is more than just a house. It's a home for your family to grow. It's a place where you feel the most comfortable and can be yourself. Shop at Paul's Furniture Company in Selden so your family can select the perfect pieces for all the rooms in your house. With over 17,000 square feet of selection, they are sure to have the styles that will please everyone, even the kids. Visit Paul's Furniture Company in Selden, where they'll help you feel at home. Visit us online at paulsfurnitureco.com.
We're back and from learning to use venison or deer meat in your cooking. We talked earlier about being able to use 50-50, 50 deer meat, 50 ground beef or ground pork, or you can use 100% venison. Now, and venison and deer meat are the same thing, just many times I refer to both. So I'm going to show you and talk about different ways of using the venison. First of all, we have to get the venison, since I'm using ground venison, we have to brown it. Now, you want to thaw it, and when you thaw it, remember, thaw it in the refrigerator. It takes a couple of days, so plan ahead. Or you can thaw it in your microwave. And if you thaw it in the microwave, you need to use it as soon as you thaw it. Before you put it in your pan, make sure you spray your pan or use some kind of fat, such as Crisco or butter. I usually just spray it really heavy because your venison will not have a lot of fat in it, and it will stick and burn. So put it in your pan and take it apart so that it will brown more even. And then I like to put onion in, and then also chop up onion, and usually I chop up about a half an onion. I usually put more onion in than I do with ground beef because that helps kind of take away the wild flavor that venison has. And then I salt and I pepper it. I usually wear gloves when I work with raw meat, just simply for protection for myself, because your raw meat will have bacteria in it that you don't normally find in other places. Salt, make sure you sprinkle a liberal amount. I'm estimating a teaspoon here. I may add a little bit more as it browns. And then pepper. Sprinkle the venison with pepper, and then you're ready to start browning. Now I wait to put my onion on until it's almost brown, because that way the onion will not be as likely to burn. While the venison is browning, I'm going to talk a little bit in different ways that you can use it. One of my favorite ways is to make pizza. You can buy either your pizza crust already made, or you can make your own dough. But then brown it, your venison like you would for the beef that you would put on. And I put a lot of onion and salt and pepper, just like I showed you. And then when it's done, I use it instead of ground beef. Put your cheese and your sauce on there. You can put vegetables, and you have an excellent pizza. You want to bake it at 350 for about 30 minutes, and it's delicious. And then another way I like using it is in meatloaf. You take your favorite meatloaf recipe, and you can add lots of ingredients to it, and those ingredients such as eggs and ketchup and mustard and all the different things that you add, the onions, I usually put oatmeal and milk in. All of those things kind of, again, mask the flavor, and you can use 50-50 or you can use 100% venison. And then put ketchup on top, and your family probably won't know the difference. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make chili today, and everybody has lots of chili recipes, but the reason I'm showing chili is because it has lots of spices in it, and that's probably one of the best ways to hide that so your family will really enjoy the venison. After you have browned your meat, then you're going to put that into your crock pot, or you can put it into a kettle and heat it right away. But for purposes today, we're going to put it in a crock pot, and then we can cook it all day, the rest of the day. And you can see I have the deer that is already browned, and it's got lots of onions in there, kind of to mask the flavor. And you put that into your crock pot. And like I said, everybody has different chili recipes. You can just use your favorite chili recipe. I have a very simple chili recipe. That way it doesn't take me very long to make it. We pretty much like tomatoes and chili beans and chili powder, and that's about it in my chili recipe, but a lot of people can add lots of different things. The first thing I'm going to add to my chili is some home canned tomatoes, and I don't think you can beat the flavor. I just pour those in. I use a quart. And then I also add tomato sauce, and that kind of gives it more of a smooth and kind of thicker texture in my chili. And then to make it kind of spicy, I also add rotel. Now I like chili that's a little thicker, so I don't add tomato juice. Now some people really like tomato juice in there, and if you do, tomato juice works great. Some people like chopped tomatoes, some people like no tomatoes at all, but just tomato sauce. So whatever your preference is, it works great. Now, coming to beans, there's a lot of different types of beans you can add. My preference is chili beans, or the chiliettes, and it already has some of the chili spices in it. My family doesn't like a lot of beans. Some places people like beans. I usually add just 1 can. If I was needing to extend my meat, feeding a big group, I would probably add 2 or 3 cans of chili beans. Or you can get just red beans work in chili, the pinto beans work in chili, or you can use kidney beans in chili. And all of those work really well, especially if you like beans or you're trying to extend the amount of chili that you need to make. You can stir that up, and then you're ready for your seasoning. You want to add about a tablespoon to start with of chili powder. Chili powder is one of those things that if you get too much, you'd have to add more ingredients because you can't take it out once you've put it in. But you can always add more as you go. You want to stir that up really good. Some people like cumin in the chili. I don't particularly like to put it in, but that's another spice that's often put in. Some people like to buy the packets of already spices put together for chili, and that works really well. Now, I had chopped up a raw onion and browned it with my venison. Sometimes people like to add the dry chopped up onion already, and that's perfectly fine too. Once you have it all mixed up really well, then you need to just allow it to cook and simmer all day long, either in your crock pot or on a pot on the stove. If you're at work, make sure, or everybody's gone from the house, make sure you use a crock pot. If you're going to be at home all day, you can watch it and stir it, and you can let it simmer on your stove top. But make sure that you're going to be home. You're not going to be leaving it on the stove top by itself. Otherwise, make sure you use a crock pot. That's why I like making it in the crock pot most. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have a bowl full of chili to sample, and then we'll finish up with some safety tips when using venison.
Here come the Men in Black trucks for all your home needs.
If you need repairs or a professional to check your home for damage, call the local guys you know and trust at AquaShield Roofing and Construction. Their 5-year warranty will give you the peace of mind you need from a company that will be there to stand behind their work. Call AquaShield Roofing and Construction at 785-475-2533 or visit aquashieldroofing.com today.
The plumber said there's something wrong with my water. It looks like you have hard water. You need a water softener. Let me show you the options we have. Hey, do you guys deliver salt? We sure do. What about drinking water? We have water coolers and drinking water systems. We even have bottled water.
Find us on Facebook and itsbetterwater.com. And remember,
it's not just water, it's better water!
Norton County Hospital would like to welcome Dr. Greg Serene to the community. Dr. Serene is a board-certified surgeon and trained in sports medicine. His practice will focus on knee injuries, joint replacements, and general orthopedics. Dr. Serene has been practicing for over 20 years and looks forward to providing orthopedic care to Norton and the surrounding communities. The Norton County Hospital, dedicated to caring, commitment, and community.
Your house is more than just a house. It's a home for your family to grow. It's a place where you feel the most comfortable and can be yourself. Shop at Paul's Furniture Company in Selden so your family can select the perfect pieces for all the rooms in your house. With over 17,000 square feet of selection, they are sure to have the styles that will please everyone, even the kids. Visit Paul's Furniture Company in Selden, where they'll help you feel at home. Visit us online at paulsfurnitureco.com.
This is Anna Schremmer, and we're back with cooking with venison. And venison is deer meat, and we have made chili, and the chili is done. And I have a bowl full here, and it smells wonderful. Crackers and a cinnamon roll would really make this meal just top. Tasting it, you would not know that it happens to be deer meat or venison that is in the chili. A few things I want to remind you about with venison. Remember, it is a very high protein food. You can interchange it 100% for ground beef, but just remember that it does not have as much fat in it as the ground beef does. You can go 50-50, 50 ground beef, 50 ground pork with venison, or you can go 50-50 with using sausage. There's only about 153 calories in a 3-ounce serving of the ground venison, or even if you would have like a venison steak, there's 153 calories per 3 ounces. And that the fat is what gives the flavor, the off flavor to the venison. So if you are cooking with venison, you want to make sure you remove as much fat as possible. It's an excellent food, and especially to use if you are having your family hunts and you have a lot of venison, or somebody gives you venison. Just remember, it is you can interchange it any way that you fix beef. Now, at the Extension office, if you would like to come to our Phillips Rooks Extension office or any Extension office in the state of Kansas, they have pamphlets that talk about care and handling of deer from field to table. They also have one on care and handling of game birds from field to table. So if you go in and get a pheasant, it tells you how to care and how to keep the deer. As once you harvest them, make sure that you do it correctly so that you have good meat, and food safety wise, you're not having meat that should be thrown out because you didn't care for it right in the field. So you do have those that you can pick up at any extension office in the state of Kansas. I do have a Cooking with Venison cookbook that I put together, which is basically my favorite recipes of ground beef that you can interchange and use either your 50-50 or your 100% of your venison. If you have any questions, be sure to contact your local extension office. And I am Anna Schremmer, and our office number is 785-543-6845. If you have any questions, please call.